What's going on, y'all? Chuck Dunface here. Wanted to do a quick follow-up on the Emerson knives Pancho recently released a couple of months back. And I've done a video on this before, and I just wanted to do a quick follow-up because clearly it looks different now. As you can see, it's got some different scales on it. Now these scales were made by the Shutter Dug. I'm going to go ahead and link his Instagram in the description. He did Emerson knife scales a while back. He typically does micarta. And then he had an issue at his shop. There was a weather, there was a big storm that came through at his shop and kind of destroyed his work area and everything else. And so he was out of it for well over a year, but he is back now in full effect. I know he's working on a website. He doesn't have one yet. He had some issues with that, but you can just always hit him up on Instagram at the Shutter Dug, all one word. I'll go ahead and link it in the description to his Instagram page. But yeah, I've owned several sets of scales from Doug, and they are just awesome. This is clearly the serape, or the Mexican blanket as it's commonly called. Awesome work. Wonderful contouring on the scales. Follows the lines of the original really well. Just kind of completely certainly changes the look of the knife from the standard black G10, but absolutely changes the way it feels in hand as well. So, I mean, the micarta, it's not smooth. It has been oil soaked, so it's taken some I don't want to say patina, but it's taken a change, I'm sure, from what you would see from the raw micarta to the way it looks now. I don't remember exactly if it's tung oil, linseed oil, or what he uses. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he soaks it in oil, does an oil soak at temperature first before completing the scales. But yeah, they just look and feel fantastic. They are going to add a little bit of girth to the knife. They're going to make it a little bit thicker overall. So it's a little thicker than the factory G10, but it feels really nice in hand. It feels really nice in the hand. Hand filling, just feels good. So he does really awesome work, and I'm really glad to see him back making scales again and doing what he loves, as part of the hobby. So Doug's just one of those guys where I've known him for a few years. We followed each other on Instagram. We've talked a whole bunch on Instagram and everything else. He definitely does awesome work, and he's a really solid dude as well. So definitely hit him up if you are looking for some scales for your Emerson knife. He does a lot of different models. I'm pretty sure he can custom make almost any model. Like he has a pretty big selection of Emerson knives, so he can custom make from what he has on hand, but he can also, if you send him your knife, I'm sure he can do something, if he doesn't have it on hand, I'm sure he can do something. If you send him your knife, he can make a template for it, and go ahead and have those. But he'll have the common models. I think he's got the CQC 7s. He might even have a couple in stock, or he occasionally does have them in stock. Probably the CQC 8, some of the more common Emerson models. Maybe some Pancho as well, because this is one of the latest and greatest from Emerson knives. Kind of the knife itself, it really has grown on me. This is one that I wasn't initially going to pick up, as I mentioned in my previous video, but really happy that I did. It's turned out to be a nice model from them. I've got the Grace Precision oversized thumb disc on there. Doesn't really need it. This model doesn't need it, but I mean, I like the pop of color, and I like the oversized models from Grace Precision, or Gray Precision, I should say. I think he does a really good job, and yeah, just very satisfied with this model overall. It's broken in very nicely. I've got no blade play or anything like that, and I always check blade play by, let's see if I can do this on camera without hurting myself, by loosening the tension on the lock bar and then checking to see if I feel any movement. If I don't feel any movement, I still have a nice action. I'm very, that's when I know I'm good to go. So yeah, really satisfied with this right here. Both the knife, the Emerson Pancho Villa from Emerson Knives, and the scales from the Shutter Doug, go ahead and hit him up if you're interested in some scales. There's a lot of guys out there that do make scales. Doug's kind of mentored with a couple of the really good ones. And but yeah, just definitely give him a shout if you're looking to get some scales for your EKI. Go ahead and give a thumbs up on this video if you like what you saw. Give me a follow on Instagram at Chuck_Nunface. Give Doug a follow on Instagram at the Shutter Doug, all one word. And drop a comment in the video. Let me know what you think of his work, of this knife in general. You know, anything like that. So, hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, whatever it is when you're watching this. And y'all stay good. Peace.